Since 1912, it's been standing. The venerable Fenway Park, the home of the Boston Red Sox, the site of game number 1 of 3 between the White Sox and Red Sox this weekend in the Northeast. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. The White Sox just split with Minnesota, playing some better baseball. The Red Sox are a tough challenger, one of the best records in the majors.
The Red Sox are loaded. They've had their injuries, but they're playing through them. They're 43-20 this year. When you take a look at the standings, it's a two-horse race. It's the Yankees and Red Sox in whatever order you want to put them in. Right now, the Yankees just a touch ahead, but as soon as J.D. Martinez comes back and Mookie Betts comes back, this Red Sox team is going to be loaded offensively, and they're scoring a lot of runs now.
It's still a pretty formidable lineup right now, and that's largely in part due to Andrew Benintendi.
Benintendi got off to a slow start this year, but lately he's hitting everything in sight. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's hitting .299. He's hit 11 home runs. He's driven in 44, and this is the key in the middle of their lineup. But with Betts out of the lineup, he's leading off, and he doesn't seem to feel any ill effects from the leadoff spot. So he's been their hero so far, keeping things afloat as the Red Sox, with a terrific record and the ability to throw some pretty good starters at you, are getting it done.
It's even more than pretty good for the guy that we know, somebody we used to know. Dylan Covey's opponent is Chris Sale in a Red Sox jersey. Sale along with us after this.
Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai today. Xfinity has the largest gig speed network, serving more homes than anyone else. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Wintrust, home of Sox checking and debit cards. Open an account today at wintrust.com/Sox. And by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional offers on select Audi models.
In the shadow of the Charles River, it is White Sox and Red Sox, game number 1 of 3, and the guy on the mound in the Boston jersey we know very well, an extremely intense competitor, Chris Sale.
He's really struggled lately because he's fallen in love with his slider, but when he's throwing fastballs, he's still fairly unhittable. And this year, if he doesn't win the Cy Young Award, he can look toward the Twins because they've pelted him. This time against Atlanta, the high fastball worked well. Occasionally, that slider didn't. So when he uses a straight change and fastball, he's still as tough as Chris Sale usually is. But his Mount opponent, Dylan Covey, also throwing the ball very well, and there's the disparity between the two in his last couple of starts. Chris Sale has struggled. Dylan Covey has thrown it exceptionally well with a 1.65 ERA and a 1-0 record. I look for big things from him. His split change has been magnificent. His stuff overall has been very good. And let's see if we can get it done tonight.
Still seems a little bit strange to have him in a different jersey, but shuffle on down to Boston with us. Game 1 coming up.
Before any of us could even pick up a baseball, to a place on the south side of Chicago where the Beast makes his home. Nobody's ever seen the Beast up close, but he's out there, waiting to feast on long balls that drop over the fence. Only way to keep the ball out of the hands of the Beast is to crush it. Forever, forever, forever.
Matt Davidson as Smalls or Benny the Jet. June 23rd, the Sandlot postgame at Guaranteed Rate Field, but we are here at historic Fenway Park. And White Sox baseball on WGN-TV is brought to you by Xfinity, delivering the fastest internet and the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. That White Sox dugout is filled with guys who have never played in this ballpark. 6 of the 10 starters, the 9 in the starting lineup, and Dylan Covey on the mound. 6 of the 10 have never played a game in this stadium.
Well, I talked with Dylan Covey before the game, and what he said was he was here as a spectator one game. He got an appreciation for it. He obviously has never seen it from 60 feet 6 inches. That will be put to rest tonight.
Chris Sale and the Red Sox take the field, and we tell you about the lineup that will go up against him, the former comrade. Tim Anderson at the top against the left-hander, then Rondon playing third base, Abreu at first, Davidson, Smith, and Moncada, Trace Thompson, Daniel Palka, Charlie Tilson, Adam Engel still out with a hamstring injury.
Let's take a look at the defense and how Alex Cora is going to line them up for his Red Sox. It's Benintendi, Bradley, and Holt in the outfield left to right, with Devers, Bogarts, Nunez, and Moreland in the infield. Mitch Moreland having a wonderful year for them. Sandy Leon has the plate. Chris Sale on the hill. Chris Sale, you know all about. You know how intense he is, what a competitor he is. He's 5-3. This is his 14th start with an ERA, an even 3. Opponent's batting average usually down there. It is no exception at 197. 110 strikeouts, just 21 walks, and a whip of .98. The whip is important. You don't get him on, you can't get him in. And against Chris Sale, when he's not hanging that slider, he is really tough to deal with. The umpires for the game tonight, Jeff Kellogg has the plate. Shane Leibensbarger has first base. Then it's James Hoy and Quinn Wolcott. I'm sure we will pronounce Shane's name 3 or 4 different ways before it's over. But this is our first look at him, and we will eventually figure out how to do that. Red Sox come into this one not exactly all everything, but they've won more games than anybody in baseball. They're 43-20, yet they still trail New York. And there is Alex Cora, good baseball man, always has been, getting an opportunity to manage just a wonderful baseball team in Boston. And that's what it looks like in the East, with Tampa Bay a distant 14 games back. Then it's Toronto and Baltimore. Baltimore just waiting to see where they're going to trade Manny Machado, and the latest rumor is perhaps Philadelphia. As Ricky Renteria talking it over with Todd Steverson. It's a great ballpark, and Tim Anderson's going to lead it off. That means we're ready to play baseball in the Battle of the Sox, and I'm ready to turn it over to my vociferous play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti.
Well, thank you, Steve. Game 1 of 3 between the Sox and Tim Anderson, one of just 4 guys in this lineup to ever face Chris Sale, which is so strange considering his first year with Boston. Sox saw him the one time, but there's been so much turnover in this lineup. As the first pitch is in there for a strike, and we are underway from Fenway Park. 7:11 local time, first pitch. This is the site of Tim Anderson's first career home run. It was June 21st, 2016 off of Clay Buchholz. And in fact, Tim's had a home run in each trip to Fenway Park in his career.
That's going to be the slider. It's probably going to bite down and in.
Downstairs for strike 3, 1 gone.
2 fastballs and a slider, and quick work of Tim Anderson.
Well, if you get angry Sale,
and that's what I think you have after the last couple of starts where he was battered and bruised.
Yeah, angry Sale is always in there, and it's when he doesn't win for a couple of starts, he ends up throwing a little bit harder and with a little extra ferocity. As here is Jose Rondon to take strike number 1.
Chris is going to work quickly, and when he is right, and he's right a lot, he throws a whole lot of strikes. He can't really wait him out too often.
0-2 on Rondon, playing third base tonight. A rare third base start for him. First time he's done it this season. Oh, and 2.
Chris has thrown 6 pitches and he's thrown 6 strikes. He's used the bottom, the top, and that fastball was 99 miles an hour. So he's come out with a little more incentive here in this outing.
It's a combination of facing his former team and the last couple starts not being good ones, you would imagine.
Yeah, he doesn't need any more incentive than that usual stuff he throws.
He'll sprinkle in the changeup, but it's typically fastball slider. One and 2. On the ground, Xander Bogaerts on the charge, and he has out number 2. We showed you the standings. The Yankees actually have a better winning percentage than the Red Sox because the teams are so far over 500, even though the Red Sox are a half game up according to the standings.
Well, the loss column is the one column that counts, and the Yankees have 2 in hand on the loss side, but it's too early to even look at all of those numbers. You just know it's a 2-team race. They're going to be there. I can't imagine either team falling substantially out of this. And the Red Sox just have to get their walking wounded back. If they can, they should be in good shape against the Yankees.
Thought there was a chance we might see Mookie Betts this weekend. There was also a chance that he would go up the road to AAA Pawtucket, which is about an hour away today, and play for the Paw Sox. That didn't happen. Mookie Betts hit inside while the Red Sox were hitting outside today, and still no word.
Yeah, I don't think the side is all that good. They're not calling it an oblique. They're calling it a side problem, but an oblique is a side problem. So In the meantime, he's not playing. I don't think he felt 100%. Otherwise, he would have taken live batting practice and probably played tomorrow. Boston's the #1 hitting team in the American League. They're #2 in pitching. #5 in defense. So all things considered, Alex Cora's got himself quite a ball club.
Top slugging team in Major League Baseball. Top batting average too. They can steal a base as well. That's inside 2-2. A rare fastball actually from Sale to Abreu. So coming in to this game, Abreu had seen 15 pitches all time from Sale and 11 were sliders.
He's likely to see one here as Chris tried to shave off the inside corner. Did not get the benefit of the call by Jeff Kellogg.
Fastball near his waist. 3-2.
That one almost took off his kneecap. And Jose with a wry smile. You don't want to see 99 coming at your kneecap because that ends your season.
That was, I liked you more when your locker was only a couple over from me. 3-2. Off the outside, ball 4. 2-out walk for Abreu, and Davidson coming up.
Now for Matt Davidson, Andrew Benintendi shifts over to left center field. They're giving him the line. If he hits it down the line, it's usually a 2-base hit anyway, but they want to take away the alley, as you see where he is, right in front of the extended scoreboard in left center.
So many nooks in this ballpark, by the way, in the outfield.
You never really know on the scoreboard where the ball is going to bounce, because he will take some strange hops. And right field in this ballpark is really tough to play.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch the Sox outfielders when the Sox are on defense, the White Sox that is, because none of them played in this ballpark.
And for Daniel Polka, one of the toughest right fields to play in all of baseball, and he's got to watch the sidewall because the ball will hug it all the way around.
1-1. A little bit down. 2 balls and a strike on Davidson.
So Chris doesn't have the feel for the slider quite yet, and the straight change has not been in the zone. If our Sox are going to get Chris Sale, you got to get him early. When he gets a feel for that slider, he's really doubly tough.
Off speed away. 3 balls and a strike on Davidson. Alex Cora, first-year manager of the Red Sox. Kevin Smith with 8 at-bats under his belt so far this year. Davidson loaded up to foul it away. 3-2.
When you usually get your first job in baseball, you get a job like the rebuild that the Cubs were on that Ricky got, or the rebuild the Sox were on that Ricky got. But you don't expect to get a Dave Martinez Washington National job or an Alex Cora the Boston Red Sox job. They both got 2 terrific teams, and both of those teams currently reside in first place.
3-2. Matt takes strike 3. Bookend strikeouts for Sale. Dylan Covey comes out after this. home runs this year. Benintendi, then Holt and Bogarts, Moreland, Nunez, and Devers. Bradley Jr., Swihart, and Leon with Martinez and Betts out.
Let's take a look at the defense, and now Ricky Renteria is going to throw them out there tonight. It's Charlie, Trace, and Daniel in the outfield. Jose, Tim, Yohan, and Jose in the infield, with Kevin Smith getting the nod behind the plate, and Dylan Covey, who has been red hot since coming back from the minor leagues. 1-1 in 4 starts. His ERA of 2.82, been very good. A whip of 143. Probably walked more guys than he would like to, but the split change has been terrific, and he's going to need it all against a red-hot Boston team.
First pitch from Dylan Covey is outside of fastball to Andrew Benintendi, the 23-year-old outfielder who has been on a power surge recently in the last month.
Well, the Red Sox have changed a few of their hitters. They've either given them the leg kick or they've taken away the leg kick. But for Benintendi, who will hit the ball all over but mostly pull it in the infield, they just allowed him to keep on swinging. They love his swing, and they believe that he was going to come around, and he's been doing that.
10 home runs his last 27 games after 1 before that stretch.
He was the guy the White Sox almost landed. He went 1 pick before the Sox pick, and the Red Sox loved him out of Arkansas. You can see why now.
Now it's spiked 2-2 from Covey to Benintendi.
Came up in 2016, played in 34 games, hit .295. Last year, the batting average for him was down a little lower than he would have liked, but he hit 20 home runs and drove in 90. He hit .271. Just showing exactly what he can do and is capable of.
Benintendi hits it well to left. Charlie Tilson is at the wall, and that ball comes off the green monster. Benintendi with a leadoff double.
Not surprising, because he has been hitting everything in sight, and this is a good moving fastball away. Everybody thinks about right-hand hitters when they think about the green monster, but it is so friendly to any left-handers who can go to left field. Normally that would have been a flyout in just about every other ballpark, but this one turns into a 2-base hit, hits off the wall, and Charlie Tilson learned something. Don't get trapped too close to that wall, because bounces will come back over your head, and maybe you'll give up some triples. You don't want to do that.
Well before the game, Charlie Tilson was standing at the top step of this third base dugout that the White Sox are housed in, and he was just looking out at the field, and I walked over to him and I said, "What are you thinking?" And he said, "Well, I was talking to my girlfriend last night, and one of the things I thought was how amazing it is to just play in this ballpark that you see all the time on video." But then we got to talking about the green monster, and I think you just assume, if you're watching at home, that these players have a good instinct on how to play a ball off the green monster. There's no manual in the visitors clubhouse to say, here are the angles. You learn that on the fly.
I was going to say, there's really nothing to practice on, because there's nothing quite like it. Well, I was surprised the first time I saw the ballpark from the field was, you see it on television, you really believe the green monster is 50 feet high.
Yes.
I mean, you think it's like the biggest wall in the world. Then you get here and you realize, yeah, it's a nice sized wall and all. It just doesn't appear to be all that high. And then you watch left-handers ping it off the wall, and you say, well, maybe this isn't easy to pitch here.
I have to imagine as well that the depth perception, if you're playing left field, considering how close you are to the infield as compared to where you would normally play in a regulation ballpark.
You have to take away line drives here, because if the ball goes over your head, it's going off the wall. There's no reason to play deep in Fenway Park.
That one clips the corner. 3-2 on Brock Holt, who really is the Red Sox Swiss Army knife. He can play anywhere, and he hits the ball very well. On base about 400 for the year for Holt. he stays alive on 3-2. So Dylan Covey, last couple outings, 2 of the last 3, he has seen arguably the best offenses in the American League, Cleveland and Boston, the Yankees excluded. Three and 2. That's ball 4, up and out, 2 on, nobody out. Well, the Red Sox got ambushed last night. Jalen Beeks, who was up from AAA, gave up a home run to Leonis Martin and a waterfall of runs in the first, and the Red Sox never really were in that game, the finale with the Tigers, and they're trying to flip that on Covey tonight.
Well, J.D. Martinez out of the lineup, if they can score runs when he's not around, they feel that they're going to score a bunch of them when he's back in this lineup. J.D. has a back issue. They decided to give him a night off. They believe that it's inconsequential, but that remains to be seen until he gets back. When he is back, he's a wrecking crew. 52 driven in on 20 home runs in 60 games.
Hey, he's a home run leader in baseball that you take out of this lineup, and still you look 1 through 9 and you say they're scary.
They are that. And the guy you don't hear about when you talk about the really good players is Andrew Bogaerts. All he's done is hit 284, 9 and 34 on the power numbers.
One and 1 on Bogaerts.
Has grounded into 4 double plays this year. Martinez and Nunez lead the parade at 7 and 6.
Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike on Bogaerts, who had his 21 game on base streak broken yesterday in the game against the Tigers.
One thing you can't afford to do in this park because of the cozy dimensions in left and left center is walk people. You're going to give up your hits, you're going to give up home runs, but if you start walking people, it compounds the problem. And for young pitchers who've never seen this park, it can be somewhat intimidating.
Wide of third and foul, 2 and 2. Do you feel it on the mound? Do you feel it kind of closing in on you?
Fortunately, I was here mostly as a veteran, and so it wasn't all that bad. And you tell yourself, well, you got to stay away from the right-handers. It's counterintuitive. You got to pitch inside. That's what you have to do to right-handers in this park, because they know that the fence is looming there. They know that if they hit a pop-up down the line, especially, it's going to go. But if you jam them here, you're going to get a lot of ground balls to the left side, because guys look middle away a lot because of pitchers' ideas about staying away from their hitters.
Throw to second. And Benintendi was wise to the game.
It was one of those pickoffs that when you spin around and realize there is no play, the only thing you can do is throw it into center field. You might as well just hold it, because there's no balk on spinning around to second.
Dylan Covey in his 2nd year in the majors, his first career start at Fenway Park. And a 2 and 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, a diving fastball, 1 down.
That's a big out, because now you're 1 ground ball away from getting out of the inning. Good movement on this one. In fact, great movement on this. It not only moved inside, but it went straight down, and Bogaerts overmatched at least for 1 at bat.
2 on, 1 out for Mitch Moreland, who is part of the reason Hanley Ramirez is no longer with the Red Sox this season.
Moreland, always a good defender. This year, living up to what everybody thought he would do when he came up with the Texas Rangers, who seemed to develop boatloads of first basemen.
To first base, Abreu collects it. Return peg to first, double play. The White Sox turn 2 and close out a Boston rally. Abreu starts it. Tim spins it back that way, and Covey on the back end. play. He's also got a walk under his belt. The only Sox base runner in the gray jerseys, White Sox and Red Sox. Game number 1 of 3 from Fenway Park, and we thank you for joining us on just a postcard night in Beantown.
That is the toughest double play to turn, the 3-6-1.
Strike 1 to Kevin Smith.
Kevin's got to look to right and right center against Chris Sale. And you've got to hit that fastball middle away before he gets to that slider down and in.
So Kevin 1 for 3 against Sale when he saw him last year, and that's exactly where the hit was. It was a 2-2 fastball away that he took to right field.
That's how you have to approach him, and he got a straight change on the second pitch. He's in the 0-2 hole.
Grounded to third. Rafael Devers for round number 1.
The Danley's defensive play came early. The aforementioned 3-6-1 double play. And Jose's got a great arm, and he's normally very accurate. Make sure of a good toss. Tim comes off, gets it back to Dylan Covey. You got to go to the bag. You got to locate the bag first, then look for the baseball and hope to get there and get your foot out of the way before it's stepped on. Nice job on the 3-6-1. When you think of garages, think Danley's. I know I do.
I will. You told me to. I'll do it.
That's it.
So now here is the matchup that a lot of people have been waiting for. Chris Sale against the young man who he was in part traded for, Yoan Moncada, back in December of 2016. At that time, Moncada was the #1 prospect in all of baseball. Chris Sale had become number 6 in strikeouts in White Sox history, and Dave Dombrowski made the trade for the Red Sox. Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams for the White Sox, and here they are together. And Sale blows it by him. First time they meet, Chris Sale gets the win.
Strikeout number 3, 98. And that was on the inner third. Pretty formidable fastball for Chris Sale. And he hasn't broken out the real good slider yet, although Davidson was left looking on a slider in the first inning.
Yeah, he's got a couple versions of it. The wipeout slider to the back shoe of the right-hander is just disgusting.
Well, that's the one that we've seen guys swing at and get hit. Torrey Hunter, one of those guys that swung at one and got hit in the thigh.
That one hooks foul. 0-2 on Thompson.
That one well hit as Grace Thompson looking for a fastball. He got it. Just yanked it foul. That was up in the upper deck. That's a blast. But it was never fair.
Trace almost had a camera bill to pay too. That was very close to a camera up there that Mark Brady was on a ladder mounting for hours.
He's a tireless producer.
Never tires himself out working. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 inning for Sale. 4th strikeout for Chris.
Deals made for go-getters. And last night, I found the butternut crumble right next to the hotel at one of the 50,000 Dunkin' Donuts locations conveniently located in Boston.
Indiana Stone in the search for the butternut crumble.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, really good.
Here's Eduardo Nunez, who is a really nice guy to have on your team. He's a plug-and-play infielder, always hits the ball well against the White Sox. Always.
He was just a good hitter wherever they put him last year. So he came over from San Francisco, where he hit .308 and followed it up in 38 games, 165 at bats, hitting .321 for Boston. They got him in the middle of the year, and he was a force for them. This year the batting average isn't quite as good, but it doesn't diminish his utility for these Sox. However, he's not quite as good at second base as he is at third. He doesn't have the range he used to have.
But he gives you flexibility off the bench, and
absolutely,
this is a roster that needed some. I mean, Hanley Ramirez, when they designated him, he was either going to DH him, put him at first, but that's pretty much it, as Nunez grounds it to Moncada for route number 1. Hey, Sox fans, join us as the White Sox take on the Oakland Athletics Thursday, June 21st at 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a free White Sox themed t-shirt presented by the Regional Transportation Authority. Get your tickets right now by visiting whitesox.com, or you can call 866-SOX-GAME.
A couple of Sox rooters, one with a Sox cap, the other with a Sox uni.
Every visiting ballpark, we see abundant White Sox fans.
Now that the weather has warmed up, gorgeous night tonight.
Walking to the ballpark this afternoon, ran into 10 White Sox fans.
Not surprising. They're all around downtown, and just a beautiful time to come to Boston.
Jose Rondon, 2 down.
Sox fans, you can visit the WGN Sports Game Zone for the up-to-date stats and information, sponsored by UI Health. Providing expert care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
2 down, bases empty for Jackie Bradley Jr., who never really in his career, other than his All-Star season in 2016, has hit the ball as well as people here would have liked.
Well, they took away his leg kick, and that is important because he wasn't getting the front foot down in time, and consequently he was late on a lot of pitches. He's swinging the bat a little bit better. He's got a long way to go to get back to what he was when he was an All-Star, but they believe that's going to happen, and what a defender he is. Best year, 267 in 2016. Played in 156 games, hit 26 and 87 on the power numbers. When you can play defense like him and drive in 87 runs, you're getting it done.
Outside. That season, according to Baseball Reference's version of WAR, he was worth 5.5 wins. That takes into account offense and defense together.
Yeah, he's one of the real stars in center field. He can go get them.
One ball, 2 strikes on Jackie Bradley Jr. from Dylan Covey. And he gets a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Covey, after being shocked early, has pitched very well. No score.
when you're in Boston. And the third inning is brought to you by the Subway Triple Play. Nothing like Subway makes me feel like Boston.
Just a glancing blow of wit there, yeah.
Text Subway to 97999. The 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway! So much sandwich.
Little known fact, Boston was formed in Boston.
They had a meteoric rise and then poof, they were gone.
Well, they're still in our hearts.
Yes.
DJ MB spinning the hits in the truck.
And here's a good situation. Daniel, you're getting a start. The bad news is it's against Chris Sale and the lefty-lefty disadvantage for you.
We wish you the best of luck. Alka wraps it to second. And Nunez for out number 1. White Sox fans, join us Friday, June 15th. It's Mullet Night and a post-game fireworks show presented by Great Clips. It features haircuts courtesy of Great Clips and mullet wigs for purchase to support Ronald McDonald House charities. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. One down, Charlie Tilson on the way. He also gets the lefty-lefty disfavor. Omar Narvaez on the bench. Yolmer Sanchez, who has been better against right-handed pitchers than left-handers, and Adam Engel, who we told you about, with something of a hamstring difficulty right now. It's not DL worthy at this point. However, Ricky Renteria and the White Sox are keeping him out of the lineup today as a precautionary measure.
You could see it in Minnesota. He just didn't appear right after going after a ball, making that spectacular catch in right center field, and looked like he came up and just was not feeling particularly comfortable. Charlie's going to get to Chris Sale. He's going to have to hit it to left field. His odds are overwhelming. He's not going to see an inside fastball. If he does, well, have a seat.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as it tails down and away from him. And the 5th strikeout for Sale.
That's a better sweeping slider than he's thrown. So he's starting to get the feel for that. When he does, nobody hits him very well.
I mean, for his career, as White Sox fans know this, but the number coming into this game is 10.6 strikeouts per 9.
Pretty amazing.
Those are like Hall of Fame numbers.
Yes, they're outstanding when you consider that he throws just about everything in the zone.
The letter generator here at Fenway Park is stuck.
The backwards K's, the regular K's. Backwards K's is looking, regular K's is swinging. And there's 5 of them up there. Likely to be a lot more before this is over.
Up the middle and into center field, Tim Anderson with his 2nd career hit against Chris Sale in 5 tries.
That time Tim got a fastball, took it right back up the middle. The no-hitter is by the boards. Well hit, scooted it through the infield, past Bogaerts, who had no chance to get this, and no-hitter for Chris tonight.
Here's Jose Rondon. That's grounded foul. Sale's 6 consecutive All-Star games coming into this season, his age 29 year, and that was part of the reason the White Sox got the haul that they did for him in Moncada and Kopech and Basabe et al. Is because of how controllable he was and how young he was.
That's one of the things that Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams, and Jerry Reinsdorf has always emphasized on the long-term contracts. Keep them controllable, and you can move them if you have to. Now, it's not that you can't move players, because you can, but if the contract has run out or close to it, or if it's really back-loaded contracts, then you're not going to get near what the Sox got for Quintana, for Eaton, and for Sale. All controllable contracts. And if you bear in mind you are trading contracts as opposed to players, the player you take for granted is going to be good. The contract is essential to get that haul back.
In there for a strike, 1 and 2 from Sale to Rondon. Trace Thompson and Yolmer Sanchez.
I would think that would have to be Yolmer. With just looking at his hand and nothing else, it would have to be Yolmer.
Yeah, I'm with you. You saw the hand and you're like, okay, what's Yolmer doing to Trace? The Yolmer Sanchez Massage Parlor, open for business here in Boston. 1-2, Tim's off, and it doesn't matter. That is strike 3. The inning's over. They'll cheer for anything here in Boston. They got their outs. If you like lobster, you'd love it here in Boston. The lobster doesn't, but you would. No score. White Sox and Red Sox. You have a blog to tell us about.
That guy's been around for a while, as has Jeff Vukovich. Sox fans, go to White Sox blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. He and the Lobster have both been around a while. Go to JeffVuk.com and follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side.
Jeff never thought that he was going to get compared to dinner.
It looked like a 20-pound lobster.
Yeah, you don't want to pay per pound for that puppy.
You have to take out a mortgage for that guy.
2 balls and no strikes on Blake Swihart, who is another beneficiary of the Hanley Ramirez move by the Red Sox. There was a hope that they could get him some more at bats. They got him behind the plate last night against the Tigers for the first time in 2 years as a catcher, and today he is DHing.
Former first-round draft pick in the June 2011 draft.
Dylan Covey gave up a double to lead the game off, then he walked Brock Holt. After that, strikeout, double play, ground out, strikeout.
He's been pretty impressive. The stuff has looked just outstanding tonight. And this is no coincidence.
He gets Swihart to roll over to Moncada, 1 down. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com.
Well, the Sox got Dylan Covey in the Rule 5 draft. They knew that the stuff was there. We didn't see it that year. And we're seeing what the Sox saw a couple of years ago this year. He's worked with Don Cooper. They've changed his delivery mechanism, the way he goes at the hitter, and it's paid off with increased velocity and much more movement. I mean, he's been very impressive.
We were talking about it during the break. The sinker he threw to Xander Bogaerts was a demon thing.
Well, especially at 94. I mean, it was outstanding. The split change has been terrific. He throws a good enough slider to keep hitters off the outside corner. Well, so far the stuff has been good. He had a big problem in the first inning, showed his composure. Benintendi doubled to lead off the ball game. Then he walked Holt. Then he struck out Bogarts on a nasty sinker and got Moreland to ground into a double play. And Don Cooper's got to be ecstatic with all of the bad swings going after Covey's assorted pitches.
That's strike 3 at 94. 2 down.
Look at the movement on this. Every pitch he throws moves, but when you start that at the hip of the left-hand hitter, you're starting it at the right hip. He gives up on it. The ball sails back over the plate. And you add a cutter or, in his case, a slider to go with it. They can't really guess with you, and you leave guys standing there like he did with Leon.
Back to the top, Andrew Benintendi takes a breaking ball, called ball 1. Don Cooper, by the way, has a whole home office in front of him. He's got a folder.
Well, he's
got a legal pad.
He also wondered where that one was because it was a strike. But yeah, Don's prepared for whatever happens. Goes 15, he's got it.
You need any white out, Coop's got it for you. Right side, Moncada collects it. Abreu goes to the bag, and that is all she wrote for the Red Sox in the third. A pitcher's duel tonight. Presented by Audi. Number of seasons sale pitch for the White Sox minus the number of games in this series plus home games in the next homestand multiplied by the home runs Tim Anderson hit before his first at Fenway Park. Sox Math brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. That's your question for today. And Jose Abreu facing Chris Sale for strike 1. Chris Sale, you heard a lot about his intensity when he was playing with the White Sox, and I remember having a conversation with him back in 2016 when the team was on a losing streak, and it was maybe 5 hours before a game that he wasn't pitching in, and he said, look, I get as mad when we lose when I'm not on the mound as when I am on the mound, and I don't think that's the case for every starting pitcher.
No, I think if you can get a whole rotation that feels the same way, you're in pretty good shape.
First base side, Moreland got a good break on it and flings it to Sale for out number 1.
Moreland normally has great hands. He bobbled that one, but he stayed right with it, was able to make the play, and Chris Sale got to where he was supposed to be in a hurry. See him break off the mound. He's going to beat Abreu there by plenty, and they turned it into a very easy 3-1. Transfer almost got away, but it didn't.
Here's Matt Davidson. You may have, if you were watching at the beginning of our telecast, you may have seen his cinematic debut, promoting the Sandlot Night coming up on June 23rd, the iconic baseball movie. Matt was holding a flashlight up to his face, telling ghost stories. Second base, Nunez for round number 2. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper level and lower level packages are available, and you can check out all the available dates at whitesox.com/4packs today. Two out, Kevin Smith.
Odds are overwhelming that Chris Sale will not live up to what he did in the first 3. That strikeout 2 an inning. Unless Leon would drop a 3rd strike here, I don't think that's going to happen. Leon's a pretty good defender. Although he's gotten better in that aspect. He was known as a hitting catcher for a long time. Now he's catching it pretty well.
When Wilson Ramos was in Washington, Sandy Leon could never crack the lineup. There was really no reason to bring him up as a starting catcher. Then the Red Sox picked him up, and he was an absolute revelation for them in 2016, especially hitting .310.
You're going to be able to hit the Sale fastball down, but the last pitch, it was up at 98. You can't hit it up there. It'll be the change now if he can wait back.
On the ground over the mound, Xander Bogaerts throws it wide. Smith is safe. That may be a base hit. We'll see.
Well, they take into consideration the speed of Smith. Bogaerts got to the ball. It was a chopper. It got over Sale's head. Become a tough play. Bogaerts came on, but threw it into the runner, and Moreland didn't want to reach into the runner to make it, so it is a base hit. I don't think he ever got a handle on that ball. It looked like he caught it in the top part of his glove, and you see it just take off well to the home plate side of first base, and Kevin has one of the rare infield hits.
Kevin Smith now 4 for 10 since his return from Charlotte, and it gives Yohan Moncada a chance.
Looks like it could qualify as the IDOT safe play. Reminding you that safe driving habits are really a matter of life and death. So as he throws it away, you can visit lifeordeathillinois.com. Good movement on that one. And Moreland decided that discretion was a better part of valor, and he would live to fight another day by not reaching in there.
You start throwing 2 seamers from shortstop, you got first basemen who are not going to be terribly pleased.
No, not when it goes into the runner that far.
That's foul for Moncada, 1-2. 23 years old, just turned 23 about a couple of weeks ago.
Moncada hitting only 170 from the right side. 265 as a left-hand hitter, but 155 at bats as a lefty, just 53 as a righty. That was 100. As Chris Sale, you know, it hasn't lost on him that this was part of the trade that brought him to the Red Sox. He wants to win each and every at bat against Yohan, and maybe early in Yohan's career, Chris is going to win the majority of them. But as things go on and Yohan gets a groove stroke from the right side, which he doesn't have now, he's going to win a few himself against Sale and anybody else.
One-two. Downstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, there's some guys in a situation like this that might say, well, it's just another game, but not mean it. And then there are other guys that would say it's just another game and actually mean it. Then there's Chris Sale, who you know in his heart, it's not just another game. As he strikes out Moncada to end the inning. No score. The Back Bay here in Boston. Bottom 4 next.
with Max Scherzer, who is at this point as hot as you can get. Last 6 starts, 4-0, ERA of 2.13. Last time out, he threw 99 pitches, 81 of them for strikes. Take a look at 8 walks, 68 strikeouts. You understand why he is going places, why Toyota is going places. So Toyota, let's go places.
If people forget that slogan, it ain't your fault. No score, bottom 4. Brock Holt, Xander Bogaerts, Mitch Moreland coming up for the Red Sox, who have no base runners after the first 2 hitters in this game.
Dylan Covey knows he's got to be good, and he is been very good tonight.
Brock Holt takes a strike. One ball, one strike. Brock Holt made his major league debut with the Pirates back in September of 2012. Then the Red Sox got their hands on him, and he has been a major part of this roster. It was the Joel Hanrahan trade that also involved former White Sox great Jerry Sands.
Former Dodger great also was Jerry Sands. A guy with a whole lot of power, never quite could harness it in the major leagues, however.
But his hat could hold a bubblegum bubble with the best of them. Rolled foul at first, and here's your Sox math answer. It's another one of those where you just have to do the last one. Tim Anderson didn't have any home runs before his first at Fenway Park, so you're multiplying by 0. Ashley 22 Sanders was there first, and she wins Audi Sox math today and will get a prize from the road, which will be a lobster roll that was kept in 98-degree temperatures in Steve's bag.
Makes you feel real good on the 3rd day.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dylan Covey at 93 blazes it by Holt. 4th strikeout for Covey.
If Dylan leans back, he's got another couple of miles an hour in there, but you would sacrifice some movement. Right now the movement has been great, and it's late movement. It comes in. Hitter's eye is like a computer. He registers what it's like to get his hands out, how quickly he has to swing to hit it out in front, and yet that late movement takes it off the sweet spot, and in this case no contact.
1 out, Xander Bogaerts, and this one tails foul. 0-1. Well, Dylan Covey last year, his primary fastball was his 4-seam fastball. That's what he used much more than the 2-seam fastball, and his bread and butter this season in the majors has been that 2-seam fastball.
The movement is just outstanding. It not only moves into the right-handers, it goes down.
"26 years old, Dylan Covey, former first-round draft pick of the Brewers. Kevin Smith helps earn that strike. 1-2.
He's throwing to spots and hitting his spots consistently, whether it's low and away or inside to right-handers. He made some great pitches in the early going.
On 1-2 in the air, left center field. Tilson is over, and he makes the catch at the warning track. Head to the ballpark. It's $1 Hot Dog Wednesdays. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal. Wednesday, June 13th. The Sox take on the Indians at 7:10 p.m. And it's brought to you by Securian Financial, who can help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. And for tickets, visit WhiteSox.com/$dogs today.
Indians are starting to heat it up. They've won 7 of their last 10. They got interrupted against the Twins. The Twins took 3 of 4 from them. But outside of that, the Indians playing good baseball. And if that bullpen gets straightened around, they're going to be tough to deal with.
You figure it would. I mean, not that Terry Francona is a bullpen whisperer, but typically he is very good at managing a bullpen.
If he's got the arms and the ability to do it. But losing Shaw to Colorado was a big blow to them, and then Miller getting hurt, another big blow.
Trace Thompson in center field, and Dylan Covey has retired 11 straight. Chris Sale has been brilliant early on. 7 strikeouts. And he's given up only 2 hits compared to 1 walk. That's our Xfinity high-speed replay. It's powered by Xfinity, as you might expect. Trace Thompson against Chris Sale for the 2nd time. Two balls and no strikes on Thompson. Fastball off the plate, so 3-0 from Sale, who's walked Abreu. He's given up a single to Anderson and a single to Kevin Smith on the infield.
You'd have to say that not much to choose from between these two starters. They've both been brilliant.
See the sweat forming on Sale's arm as he threads through the 3-1 for a strike.
Here's an idea about how he feels about that straight change. To throw it 3-1 in a situation where you don't want to walk Thompson lead off the inning. That's supreme confidence in his ability to get a strike over, because the changeup normally guy's going to take it anyway on 3-1. He's looking for a fastball. You're going to zone hit, meaning you probably want it middle in. If you don't get anything like that, you just take it, which he did, and went full.
Did you get lathered up like that when you were pitching?
No, I had no sweat glands. I had them removed when I started.
Brock Holt in right field for out number 1.
Yes, of course you do.
Yeah, that looks like there's some extra there.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No. Unless he drank, I don't know, a pitcher or 2 of water before the game so you don't get dehydrated. Could very well be, but it's a humid night here, despite the fact that it's not real warm. It's just a gorgeous night. Great night to be out at the ballpark, and as usual, lots of folks here at Fenway Park.
One down, Daniel Polka, who loads up to sky this ball down the right field line. Daniel's actually hit the ball pretty well against left-handers in the majors in short time, 21 at bats, but he is 7 for 21 against lefties.
And this is what Ricky Renteria is thinking about. He wants to see how he fares against the toughest of all the tough lefties, and he made contact the first time up on a ground ball the second. But when Sale does drop down and throws low 3/4, almost sidearm, the best description I heard was a hitter saying it looks like the second baseman is pitching to me.
Yeah, that's difficult to deal with.
Well, number one, at 100 miles an hour, you have to stand in there, and then if he throws it away, you have to have plate coverage away, and you're just hoping that he doesn't lose track of it inside somewhere. As a fastball at that speed might take your face off.
Strike 3. 2 down as we step aside to tell you about what's on tap on WGN. With Steve Stone, Jason Benetti, our entire crew here at Fenway Park in Boston. And we promise you a run at some point tonight. It's just not there yet. You mentioned Manny Machado earlier. He was drafted 3rd overall in 2010. Chris Sale was 13th to the White Sox, and immediately following Sale in that draft, the next pick was Dylan Covey.
Well, Chris Sale was only dropped to 13 because of his weight. He weighed 168 pounds when he walked in, and the Sox drafted him at that weight, knowing that he would fill out some. But there's no doubt he had a top 5 arm. They were concerned about his motion. They were concerned about would he hold up at 168 pounds. Sox made the right pick. He was a great pitcher for them, and now he's a great pitcher for Boston. And because of the rebuild, the Sox used that great pitcher to get a couple of terrific players back, and maybe a third, because Wasabi is starting to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and we know about his expert defense. So it could very well be that that was a deep trade for the Sox. our socks, the white version of the socks.
It's always tough when you come to Boston. You have to turn off that portion of your brain where you just say socks. And having gone to college in the Northeast where everybody there said Sox and it meant the Red Sox, it's not terribly welcome to go back to that atmosphere. 1-2 for Tilson. Just a fierce left-hander, Chris Sale. Chop to shortstop, Xander Bogaerts retires the side. Halfway home, nothing on the board. Sterling like if you're watching TV and listening to Donna Summers on the radio. Boston's own Donna Summer. Now we need video killed the radio star to get us more squared away. Some great music out of the city, by the way.
There has been.
Yeah. Mark Brady found it all for our telecast tonight. No Guster yet. You a big Guster fan?
No.
They were formed at Tufts.
General Guster?
That is not a person. Covey gets an awkward swing from Nunez. 0-2. Dylan Covey just mystifying tonight.
His stuff has been electric. Every one of his pitches moves. The slider, which he's used sparingly, has been a good pitch for him. And the sinker, which is his mainstay, is working exceptionally well. And there it was. Get ahead 0-2, you can use one out of the zone, make it look tantalizing, but don't throw a strike with it. Take a look at the movement here. Ball just dives out of the zone.
Whose sinker can you compare that to? Anyone pop into your head as you look at it?
The way it's moving tonight, there's a guy that threw in the big leagues not that long ago, maybe 15 years ago, named Kevin Brown.
Yep.
He had a 3-to-1 ground ball to fly ball ratio, 3.5 on a yearly basis. Won 20 games a couple of different times.
Another ground ball. Anderson. Take advantage of the Diamond Suite flash sale and lock in a summer outing today. Get significant savings on a 20-person suite, hats for the whole group, a scoreboard message, a complimentary dessert card upgrade, and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com/flash sale today. And if you look at the record and you say, hey, look, the White Sox are 20-40, they're struggling. This team is playing much better baseball. Much better baseball.
No doubt about that.
Tag to left field by Rafael Devers. Tilson meets the wall, and a high bounce away from Charlie on a one-out double for Rafael Devers.
These are pretty much identical doubles, 5 innings apart. Benintendi doubled to lead off the ball game, and now Devers takes it high off the wall. This is a place where, and Tim Anderson knows this, where the shortstop has to go out, because on a hard carom, when Charlie gets trapped that close to the wall, it's going to come back over his head. And although Trace Thompson also will be there to make the play, Tim Anderson has to be out there too.
Jackie Bradley Jr. takes ball 1. Again, there's no green monster for dummies. There's no how to play the green monster. You figure it out when you run into the thing. Always thought that there was some nice symmetry when Mike Greenwell was playing in front of that green wall in left.
Take a look again and watch the toe tap instead of the high leg kick. He used to use that high leg kick, giving him some hang time, but he wasn't getting the front foot down in time. Now he's eliminated that under the tutelage of Tim Hires, their hitting coach. Mike Greenwell played left field pretty well here.
He did.
Yep. There is a look at Tim Hires.
There's another look at that sinker from Dylan Covey.
It's a good one. Leaving a whole lot of these guys to pound it into the ground.
2-1. That's in there for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
6 ground balls through the first 5 1/3 innings. Four and a third innings, excuse me. That to go with 4 strikeouts, so a lot kept in the infield here tonight.
2-2 is there for strike 3. Dylan Covey freezes Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 down.
They're getting their first look at Dylan Covey, and you can see the movement, and that's why left-handers just can't pull the trigger. It looks like it's going right at him. Then it looks like it probably will be inside, and then the 6-inch movement takes it back over the plate. They give up and they're gone.
41 two-seam fastballs in the game for Dylan Covey. 12 called strikes.
Pretty good. Very good.
Shot to right field and foul. Well, Daniel Palka hasn't been pressed into any action out there in right field, and that's a pretty nuanced area for him to deal with tonight for the first time in his career.
Well, anything down the line, if you go right at the baseball, you're going to wind up chasing it all the way around, past the Samuel Adams, the Bank of America, the Xfinity, all of them. But it's going to hug that corner and keep on going. Very much like a pinball machine.
So what's the best way to play it?
Hope that it's hit to center.
That is one step, yeah.
Best way to play it is you sprint right to the 380 mark. And there's the pesky pole, very shallow at that point, but you have to hook it around pretty much to get it there, and then it just keeps going straight out around the Jordan's furniture and on and on.
Thanks, throw to second.
The right fielders are taught here that if you go toward the ball, if you're going to head toward the line on a ball hit down the line, it's going to get by you. So you sprint right to where it says 380, which is not exactly in right center, but it's well right of straightaway right field.
It essentially plays like a ball return.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's going to come to you. You might as well let it come to you, because if it goes down there, it's a 2-base hit anyway, and there's the 380 mark. So you sprint right to there, the ball will come to you unless it gets hung up under the padding.
Then, of course, you throw your hands in the air and it's a 2-base hit.
If in fact it is hung up, yes.
2-2 on Swihart. Upstairs for strike 3. That was going to be a strike anyway at 96, and Dylan Covey continues to shoot him down. Radio, TV, wherever. Brilliant once again for Covey. Mark Burley's here.
Thinned out a little bit since his career ended.
This is a Burley special, though. It's a quick one through 5.
Both pitchers getting it, throwing it. Both pitchers throwing strikes. Both pitchers have walked 1. Chris is fan 7, Dylan 6.
Anderson to right, and Brock Holt is there for out number 1. Here's Jose Rondon, who's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Mentioned that Jose had not started at third base this season, either here nor AAA. He gets the start today with Yolmer Sanchez on the bench. 7 games in AAA in 2016 at third. 8 games in AA. And that's it for his third base career in pro ball. 15 games ever before today, as Rondon lays down a bunt. Will it stay fair? The answer still pending.
Yes.
Hang on.
It will.
And it does.
And a wise play by Devers, because he couldn't throw him out. And now we realize that it's a banked foul line. Otherwise, the spin would have taken it foul. So it just hugged the line. And our 4th drive of the game is a short drive. Good bunt. I thought when it trickled off the grass it was going to spin foul, but it hugged the line right there. Never went foul. Devers couldn't do anything with it except look. And although it started heading that way, it stayed on the line. Exit velocity of stink.
Who shot JR? You can't beat the drama of a ball embracing the foul line in Major League Baseball.
Well, you might as well just look at it, because you can't do anything with it. So a heads-up bunt, seeing Devers back at third, taking advantage of it. And normally you'd like to see it on the grass, thinking it would spin foul. It just didn't.
Though your calculation was pretty strong. The official exit velocity was 18.7.
That's good. And you can visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. I had to get that in, the tagline. I know you gave me plenty of room to get it in, but sometimes, you know, this elder statesman forgets. So I drifted back and picked it up late.
You are a late tag man on this road trip.
I've been, I know. I got to work on my tags.
Abreu on the ground. Bogarts goes to second to get the lead runner.
I think that Jose slid a little early because he kept on sliding and sliding and didn't get to the bag. So we'll take a look at StatCast on the bunt. There it is. Exit velocity 18.7. The launch angle of nothing. But a base hit nonetheless.
See, that's what StatCast was invented for. Shenanigans.
That's it.
Two down. Abreu at first. Davidson the batter.
Matt can reach right center field here. Normally, not a lot of right-handers can take it up that far. He's one of the guys that has the power to do it if he's looking away.
On the ground at first, and this standoff ends in out number 3. Bottom 6 coming your way after this. Zeros. Band formed in Boston as well. Freeze frame. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWDealer.com. George Scott hit a home run against you.
Taters.
Okay. There you have it. That was not exactly as dramatic as Jose Rondon's bunt, but sometimes you buzz in.
I didn't even read it. What did it say?
Taters.
Oh, his home runs, yes.
I just thought you liked yelling out taters.
That was from Sling Blade.
French fried taters.
Taters.
So you got StatCast on a bunt and a Billy Bob Thornton from Stony tonight.
By the way, I met him here at the hotel in Boston, not this hotel, but another one, and he's a huge baseball fan, is Billy Bob Thornton.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Ripple to first. Abreu to the bag. How does he feel about Jake Giles' band?
He's always thought highly of them. There it is again. How about Kenny Loggins? Please come to Boston.
Well, even though we ain't got money, everybody in Chicago is so in love with you, Stoney. One down for Benintendi. I don't think it's very safe for us to have the ability to name a band and have it play.
Ooh, I think it's good.
Benintendi 1 for 2, a double and a ground out. This is just a supremely talented young man. He's 23 years old. He could track it down in the outfield and a great steady pat.
And a very calm personality, a fierce competitor, but he masks it with when he leaves the field, whether it's before the game, after the game, when he does a press conference or talking with the media. Very calm, very steady, very consistent.
He was a basketball star in high school as well. I mean, one of those multi-sport stars. Didn't specialize. That was out of Madera High School in Cincinnati. He actually, as he left, held the points record as a basketball player for his high school.
It's pretty impressive because he's not the tallest guy around, but a wonderful athlete. He shows it in the field all the time and can use the whole field and hit the ball hard in any direction.
This time to left, and Charlie Tilson, who's underneath out number 2.
Sox fans, you can show your team pride with a White Sox checking and an official White Sox debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
More Sox fans here at Fenway Park. A great place to come as you make your tour around Major League Baseball's facilities. If you're a big baseball fan and you don't have a list of the ballparks you haven't been to, you need to create that, because that's one of the things as a true baseball fan you should do.
I think a lot of people just do that on their summer vacations. They click 3 or 4 off every summer and then just sequentially go through them all. Because there's some beautiful parks.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is gorgeous. Minnesota is gorgeous. I mean, these are parks that you have to see. Of course, you got this in Wrigley Field, very similar. One in the National League, one in the American League. They're very similar parks.
And Dylan Covey continues to ram through the Red Sox order. He's gotten them swinging. He's frozen them too. To the 7th. Grade. New kids, by the way, from Boston as well. Zach Collins and Sebi Zavala, both catchers, Southern League All-Stars. Eloy Jimenez, of course, Danny Mendick, Ian Hamilton as well, down at AA.
Pretty impressive. By the way, I got my Loggins mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not Kenny. It was Dave.
He didn't pair with Joe DiMessina nearly as much.
I don't think so. No. I don't know.
7 All-Stars, by the way, as well for the South Atlantic League's Kannapolis Intimidators. So some great signs, not only for people who follow Sox minor leaguers, but they're being recognized across their leagues as the best players at their levels, which is a nice indicator for what's going on down on the farm for the White Sox. Kevin Smith to right field, and a parachute that drops in and bounces on a hop over the wall. So Kevin now 2 for 3 tonight and 3 for 6 career against Sale.
Well, we figured he was going to have to go to right field. Now, he had a chopper up in the 4th inning that he ran out. It was a bad throw, but this time he takes it down the line. Hope can't get to it, and the break is that it takes a high bounce out. Automatic 2 bases. He wouldn't have had a double had it taken a low bounce and caromed off the wall. So a promising start to the 7th as the Sox, our Sox, try to break through.
Yoan Moncada takes a called strike. Pinpoint. March the 12th, 2015, the day that Yoan Moncada signed with the Boston Red Sox. The #1 prospect in baseball when he was traded to the White Sox. And Chris Sale, the man who he was traded for in part, 60 feet 6 inches away from him.
Well, Chris knows that Moncada should be trying to go to the right side to move along Kevin Smith. So he's throwing the ball inside, trying to force him to pull it. That would be dangerous because Bogaerts is playing up the middle. He's the guy charged with holding Kevin Smith close.
Moncada does go the other way. A ground ball to second. Nunez throws him out. Smith to third. 1 away, and the first run available 90 feet away.
Pretty good hitting by Yoan Moncada. He got the job done, took it to right. And on it, Kevin Smith now 90 feet away from the first run of the ball game. So that's one that goes 0 for 1 in the scorebook, but your teammates appreciate it. Chris Sale gets it on the inner third, but not inside as much as Leon wants it. And Yoan was able to take it to the right side, something that his countryman Jose Abreu does exceptionally well on pitches middle in.
There was a little Abreu in that swing, actually.
I think they've been talking about just how to do something like that, because in this case you needed a productive out, and he got it. Infield in.
Trace Thompson takes ball #1. A wild pitch would do the trick, although Kevin at third would have to have a nice lead depending on where it bounced.
Fly ball like the last one to Hope would get the job done. He's got an infielder's arm in right field.
Kevin flashes, Trace flashes a bunt, and it's 1-1. Smith at third, 1 out.
This would most likely have to be a safety squeeze, meaning Kevin Smith is not going to be going. He's going to be coming down the line, but he can't get off the bag that far until he sees how far Devers is going to stray off the bag. Devers is probably 10 feet away. That is, or should be, the sum total of the lead that Kevin gets. Now, if Ricky does want, this would be a good one to use the safety squeeze.
That's where you have to hit it, likely to get a sacrifice fly, as Trace Thompson misses at 90. 2-2. Smith at third, 1 out.
That's his version of the straight change at 90 miles an hour. Perfect spot for it, and he had Trace well out in front.
With the infield in, Chris Sale to Trace Thompson, and a line drive cracks the score column for the Sox. Thompson scores. Smith, it is 1-0.
RBI number 6 for Trace Thompson. He hit the daylights out of that, and perhaps with the infield back, Bogaerts has that. But the infield had to play in, and Bogaerts did not get it despite going up as high as he can get. So it shows you what happens when you execute, as the Sox did with Moncada hitting it to the right side, force the infield in. That allowed the base hit, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, that's a 3-step run for the Sox.
Watch Chris Sale. He wanted a high fastball and didn't get it. He was mostly mad at himself. He knew a high fastball ends the at bat. He didn't get it high enough, and Trace Thompson hit the daylights out of it.
Now the question that arises is, can you get to Chris Sale when that adrenaline is really coursing through him? And sometimes he can get erratic. Sometimes also the opposite effect is he's even better.
Yep. Well, it is a game. You mentioned a game of nuances, and that's exactly what it is. If he gets that ball up about 6 inches, Trace does nothing with it. But he didn't. And the mistake cost him a run.
An angry deep breath from Chris Sale. 1-2. That is a cut and a miss at 99. Well, Daniel Palka came into the game with the 7th highest exit velocity in Major League Baseball. The way to keep that from being an asset is don't let him make contact. And that's what Sale's done for the most part tonight.
Sounded like he broke the bat, but he didn't. Jace Fry starting to loosen up in the pen. Right now he's loosening his shoes.
And it's through. Base hit for Charlie Tilson. 2 on, 2 out, Anderson.
Charlie's got his first hit of the night. That was a sidearm slider that stayed up in the zone. And wisely, Trace Thompson does not stray too far off the bag.
Two on, 2 out. Tim Anderson coming up. Chris Sale with 1 walk and 9 strikeouts. The White Sox with a lead against their former teammate. Swing and a miss.
Our boys had 3 hits all night and 3 hits this inning. Kevin Smith started it off with a looping double to right and a couple of hard hit balls from Thompson and Tilson.
Oh and 1. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second is in time. Thompson straying off the bag, and that's how the rally ends for the White Sox. However, the visitors take the lead. Hanging real tough against their former buddy. Thompson played Smith 1-0.
division. AL East, they've dominated. The Central, only 6 games, but they've won 67% of them. The East and the National League, along with the West, they've dominated. Shop in-store or online at mybobs.com as you dare to compare.
Dylan Covey, through 6 innings, has allowed 2 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 7.
Now he's going through the heart of the order, however.
Xander Bogaerts first, looks at strike 1.
Good little slider. Started him off in the zone.
You could have fathomed a circumstance even just a couple of weeks ago where if Dylan Covey got you into the 7th inning against the Red Sox, Ricky Renteria, no matter how well he was throwing, could have said, I'm going to the bullpen. But this seems to be a different version of Dylan Covey, as there's a base hit for Bogaerts to open the 7th. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
And I would think that would be it. The reason is, if he does take him out now at the 83 pitch mark, he's going to leave with a positive performance. He can't lose the ball game, and so Dylan Covey, who was brilliant tonight, is going to depart, and so will we. And we'll be back. Dylan Covey, who was just brilliant tonight. Gave up 3 hits in 6+ innings, walked only 1, fanned 7, was in command from start to finish. Leaves with Bogaerts at first base, representing the tying run in favor of Jace Fry. Wrap your hands around the official Italian beef of the Sox at one of the 25 Bona locations. Sounds like the Pixies to me.
Sure is. 6 innings, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts for Covey. Talking to Miguel Gonzalez on the DL on the road trip.
I think he was talking to him about that sinker he was throwing. For the split change, they were both really good.
So Mitch Moreland facing Jace Fry.
On for the 16th time, the ERA at 2.45. Moreland already grounded into 1 double play. A second would look awfully good.
To first, Abreu to second. The turn is there. He did it again.
This the 3-6-3 instead of the 3-6-1, but Moreland's grounded into a pair of them here tonight, and that was a big one. Takes Dylan's runner off the base. The bases are clean. Right at Jose, was very accurate with his throwing arm. And back and they got him by a half step. They can take a look at it, but it looks to me like they got him.
They're going to challenge this because with the crew chief review in the final couple of innings, there's really no loss. And so they'll go to New York. Jeff Kellogg and his crew will take a look.
Ooh, that is close when you slow it down. Well, it's going to be 3-6-3 or 3-6.
So you're looking for clear and convincing proof, indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was out. So it's really a no-lose proposition for Alex Cora. The replay in stadium has convinced the Massachusetts locals that their runner, Mitch Moreland, is going to be safe. I'm not as sold. Are you?
It looked like a bang-bang play. I mean, it really
safe.
They're calling him safe. It was very close, but it was a very quick decision, and it went the Red Sox way.
So because of the fielder's choice, that runner out there is still Covey's. You can't officially close the book on him yet, with Nunez coming up and then two lefties after. Nunez twice grounded out on the middle infield against Dylan Covey.
Moreland does have one stolen base, doesn't figure to be going here. Not with that lead anyway.
Two 2-0 for Nunez, who came in as a career .356 hitter against the Sox as Nate Jones gets loose. On the ground to third, and it's not going to be any outs. Rondon charged. Nunez is safe, and Jose Rondon, playing his first game at third base this year, commits what you hope isn't a costly error.
Well, he had a choice. He could have waited back or come on quicker and smothered a short hop. Instead, he got the long hop, and it becomes difficult as he tries to play it off to the side, and it trickles under the glove. That long hop is really difficult to play, but that's what he felt he was left with. And again, without a great deal of experience at third, you get trapped in between, and so it goes E5.
Lefty Rafael Devers.
Pretty good pitch and didn't get it.
Yeah, Devers has actually been pretty good in his career against left-handers. He has some very nice splits against left-handed pitching, although this year it's been down some, so 1-1.
He just wasn't hitting anything, and lately he's been swinging it a whole lot better. His double in the fifth, a testament to that, is Covey, a very interested bystander looking on.
1-1. Now 1-2.
Good thing here in the hitter's mind, he's thinking about that curveball. I think it's a good time for Jace to throw that fastball right where he threw the first one, right down under his hands. Let's see what Kevin Smith wants.
He gets strike three on a breaking ball. 2 down.
That looked like a hard cutter. 88 miles an hour for Jace, and a big strikeout at Devers. Good spot for it, low and away. Perfect spot.
Chase Fry, for the most part, has been nailed since coming up from AAA.
Whenever you are allowed the 7th inning in a game when you're ahead, you know that you got the manager's confidence, and a good stop like Kevin Smith.
One thing to watch out for here is Jackie Bradley Jr. gets hit pretty often. He's got 7 of them to his name this year. So if Jace pitches him inside, that could be an issue.
Just missed him there. Didn't miss him by much.
That's in the zone, 2-1. Bradley didn't know where that was going. 3-1. Blake Swihart is on deck, the switch hitter.
Another good slider had Bradley pulling off the ball with no chance.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jace Fry batters the Red Sox in a big spot, and we'll go to the 8th with the White Sox holding the lead, 1-0. Single after a Kevin Smith double and Yoan Moncada's ground out to advance him. The only run scored in the 7th inning as Chris Sale throws pitch number 100, and it's outside to Tim Anderson. Sale for the most part this year has been 100 pitches plus. In fact, 7 of 9 starts coming in, he'd thrown at least 100.
And the bullpen up and going for the Red Sox.
Heath Hembry. There's a good slider.
The longer we don't see Kimbrough, the better it'll be, because he's the closer, and not going to see him too much in a game tied or behind. That one diving down and in, and the appeal by Leone. Nothing doing. Pretty impressive by Chris Sale, but he trails. Be a nice man to have on. With the speed, you could use some insurance here in the 8th.
Back to the mound. Sale is on it for round number 1. Jose Rondon last time up with a bunt single, maybe of the season. Tommy James has it for you. Oh, it really threatened there.
It actually went off the line for a second, but Devers couldn't get to it in time.
Yeah, it did take its time. Off the bat at like 17 miles an hour. What do you do as an encore if you're Jose Rondon?
Well, hit it by a drawn in third baseman. In this case, Devers has to respect the bunt. So he's even with the bag and a little bit off the line.
Line to left. And pinballing around the folks from Boston.
Time now for the Ram upcoming schedule. A couple more here in Boston, and then it's back home as the Indians provide the opposition for a 4-game series. There's the first of them on Monday night. Ram trucks built to serve.
That game tomorrow, the starters still slated as TBA for the White Sox, but there are signs pointing to it being Carlos Rodon as a possibility in that game. Rondon strikes out, 2 away.
Well, the fact that he's here is probably the good first sign. He's feeling good. So I would think that he probably would be going to the hill, and that will be a welcome sign. That's double figures in strikeouts for Chris Sale, something he routinely does.
Seems like it's pretty difficult to get the K all the way across that sea of people, though. Carlos Rodon. Question at first was, are you not ready? He was shaking his head no.
Double negative?
No. Devers at third. Slings it over. And that will do it. Bottom 8, White Sox holding a 1-0 lead. Backs limit you. Start your comeback today by visiting Athletico.com to request your complimentary injury screening and have your pain or injury assessed by our experts for free. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of the Chicago White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody. Jace Fry hands the baton to number 65.
Nate Jones comes out for the 25th time. He's 2-2 with ERA, .430. 1-run ball game. Every pitch big, every out bigger. 6 outs to go, and Swihart, Leon, and Benintendi. Swihart a switch hitter, Leon and Benintendi left-handers, along with Holt.
Strike one to Swihart. The Red Sox, part of the reason they have had such success offensively this year is their 7, 8, and 9 hitters have been tremendous. The last 2.5 weeks or so, their bottom 3 is hitting right around 300 as a group.
They did absolutely nothing for the first month and a half of this season, and certainly coming alive now. That really makes Alex Cora very happy, because it really deepens out this lineup that is so tough anyway. Imagine when they get Betts and J.D. Martinez back, they'll be that much tougher.
2 strikes from Nate Jones. Mookie Betts still on the disabled list. He hit inside today while the team was in the cage. Marcus Lynn Betts is watching. J.D. Martinez on the bench as well. You know Mookie Betts wants to be out there.
There's no doubt. But he also wanted to play 1 game in the minor leagues. He said he wanted to get 4 at-bats against live pitching. Instead of just taking batting practice or hitting off a tee or having one of the coaches throw to him, he wants to play 1 game non-stressful under game conditions to see what it's like and how that side feels. You can't blame him. It's really a wise idea. I just don't think he's 100%, because if he was, it's 12 days now injured. He would be back.
Yeah, 10-day disabled list. He could be off the DL right now. Strike 3. Fastball at 99 to the roof for Nate Jones. 1 down.
High heat. Threw it right by him. A tardy swing. You can see the difference between upstairs and downstairs as far as that fastball is concerned. Upstairs, no chance. Downstairs, hittable.
He didn't start his swing until the ball was basically by him.
No, he had very little chance there.
Same there for Sandy Leon at 99. Strike 1. Nate's reaching back tonight.
Looks like Luis Avilan throwing in the pen just in case.
Right down the middle, 0-2. You can make the argument to bring in the lefty for Benintendi, in fact.
Could very well be the case. As Hembry, if they don't score, Kimbrel, if they do score a couple of runs, probably.
On the ground up the middle, but that's why you shift. Anderson for out number 2, and here's what's coming up on WGN. Two down, 8th inning. Nate Jones on the hill. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew at Fenway Park since 1912 in downtown Boston, the home of the Red Sox. And Andrew Benintendi will face Nate Jones. Kevin Smith wants to have a chat. He'll bring the infielders along for the ride.
Could be 2 things, and I know Ricky is talking with Don Cooper about, number 1, giving some time to Avilan, and that's why everybody's meeting at the mound. Ricky wants the option of going to Avilan if Don Cooper and Ricky decide that's the best move. But to do that, you have to give him a few extra pitches, hence the meeting at the mound, and they're standing out there until Jeff Kellogg comes out to break him out. That one probably allowed 6 or 7 extra pitches, and Don Cooper talking to Kurt Hassler, is he ready to go yet? And they're going to go with Nate.
Andrew Benintendi 1 for 3. First pitch watching, ball 1.
You think if he doesn't get Benintendi, it will be Avilan for Holt.
It actually could be Avilan for the 9th inning as well. You have the lefty Holt, you have Bogarts the right-hander, and then Moreland the lefty.
Could very well be, but the way Soria has been throwing it lately, they might just go the experience closer.
In the air, center field. Trace Thompson before the warning track for out number 3, and Nate Jones with a clean 1-2-3 8. It is 1-0 White Sox.
leave with a 1-run deficit. Sox looking for an insurance run. Our Sox on for the 27th time is Hembree. 2-1 ERA of 4.39. Opponent's batting average 2.57, which isn't great. The whip at 1.46 is problematic, as are 13 walks and 26 2/3. So Chris Sale went 8, gave up a run on 6 hits with just 1 walk and 10 strikeouts. A good night for him, but a better night for Dylan Covey as he actually outpitched Chris Sale.
Okay, so if I ask you last year, will you use the phrase Dylan Covey outpitched Chris Sale in the next 2 seasons, what would you have said?
I would have said it's a strange game and anything is possible. But looking at the stuff that Dylan Covey had tonight, you can understand how he saw it through this lineup. A lineup, with all due respect, depleted by no Bogarts, no J.D. Martinez, but still, this whole lineup leading the American League in runs scored. I mean, slugging percentage, batting average. It's a potent lineup, and Dylan was just great.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a Mookie Betts who's an MVP possibility, but certainly it's still a loaded lineup.
Yes, it is for
Boston.
sure.
Matt Davidson starts the 9th. And it's a ball and a strike from Hembree, who's thrown more sliders this year than he had in any of his 5 seasons prior to this year. Fastball up, 2-1.
Joakim Soria throwing in the pen. He will come on to try to get it done. Nate Jones with a good inning.
Control was very secure the entire inning for Nate.
Yes, it was. Got ahead of the hitters. A little extra life on that fastball. And Hembree started his career with the Giants. Made it to the big leagues briefly. 9 games total. That was in 2013 before coming over here to Boston in 2014. Big year in 2016. 4-1 ERA in the mid-2s.
96, middle up, 1 down.
Pretty lively fastball. 96 these days out of the pen. If not the norm, it's pretty good, especially for guys pitching late in games that are not blowouts.
Do you believe we're to the point in baseball where you look at 96 and you say, yeah, it's pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not great, but good. Now 96 with life, like sink on it, that would be really good.
Kevin Smith, who scored the lone run of tonight's game off a double that he plunked down the right field line. Then Moncada moved him to third, and Trace Thompson hit a dart over shortstop to score the run, and that's going to hurt Sandy Leon.
That got the inside of the right leg. It seemingly went around the shin guard, and that one he's going to wear for a while. Watch it again and watch where it gets him. Ooh. Move the shin guard aside so I can hit your toe. Ooh, yes.
Oh, that sound.
Yeah, not good. Tough place to play, folks. Guys who are seemingly impervious to pain play back there.
That was catcher on catcher damage too. Although Kevin Smith has had enough bad luck in his career that you wouldn't imagine the karma wheel is going to spin toward negative for him for that one.
Let's hope he stays healthy, because if he does, the Sox are a better team.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. He gives them a new dimension behind the plate. He blocks pitches well, calls a good game, and the pitchers had a pretty good feeling that he's in command behind the plate, and that's what a veteran catcher will do.
1-2 strikes from Hembree to Smith. Checked his swing, did not go.
Shane Leibensparger on the call, and no, he didn't even come close to swing. But you lose nothing on the appeal, so you might as well go for it.
Court costs.
The appellate process denied.
2-2. down 3-2 You'd like to get insurance here because the Red Sox have Holt, Bogarts, and Moreland, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters on the way in the ninth. A 1-out payoff pitch. On the ground at third, endeavors giving ground to throw Smith out, 2 away.
Devers wasn't playing a particularly good defensive third base. So what they decided for him, all things being equal, they're going to move him back a bit at third. He's playing deeper these days, giving him a little more time to react. And with it, he knows when to give some ground, when to come get him. He's been a better third baseman over the last few weeks.
There was some thought originally that he might be a first baseman down the line.
Well, they're pretty happy with Mitch Moreland right now. And maybe he still will be a first baseman in the mold of Steve Garvey, who was not an overwhelmingly tall first baseman.
2 out, Moncada. Yohan batting from the left-hand side for the first time tonight.
He would love nothing more than to hit one out of a ballpark where he played in briefly.
Before he came over to the White Sox, he did spend a couple weeks with Boston.
And that probably was the pitch. I mean, a fastball, middle in, and he's shaking his head because he knew he let a good one go by. That was probably the most hittable pitch he'll get in this sequence.
On 2. Well, that was not a bad pitch to hit.
No, Leon wanted it upstairs out of the zone, and Hembree missed his spot, and for him, he got away with it. You see, Leon was standing up. He wanted the high fastball. He got one right down the middle. So a rare second hittable pitch in the same at bat.
Off the fastball here.
That's going to be the slider, and Leon wants him to bounce it.
Strike 3. Hembree bans Moncada. White Sox up a run, trying to secure it. Thing in this ninth inning. 1-0 White Sox. Holt, Bogarts, and Moreland coming up against this man.
Joakim Soria coming in the ball game on for the 24th time. His ERA a little above 3.5. 6-8 for saves. 255 BA.
First one called ball 1.
The key is always the first hitter in a one-run game. And he's got a tough one up in Holt.
Can't have a flood without the first raindrop, and Brock Holt would like to be that for Boston. Two and one on Brock Holt, who's walked once and struck out twice.
Outfield shifting toward left and left center. Big gap in right center. Holt can run all day if he hits it out there. Soria figures to stay away.
Called a strike.
Well, Kevin bought that one because he's not jerking the glove. He's easing the glove, and Holt can't believe it was a called strike. But credit this to Kevin Smith. Nice job of bringing it back, expanding that outside corner, selling Jeff Kellogg on the fact that it was a lot better than it really was.
Two and two. Fisted out towards shortstop, and it's Rondon cutting in front for out number one. There was just a story today on Fangraphs about the White Sox having the worst strike zone in Major League Baseball as compared to what it should be. Average strike zone that you should see. Part of that is pitch framing, and Kevin Smith, his first game back, he bought what, 3 or 4 strike calls?
And he's been doing it by easing the glove. Good catchers will use their wrist. They won't move the glove with their whole arm. If they use the wrist, bending it to one side or another and easing the ball into the zone without any jerky movement, it looks a whole lot better. You can buy routinely a couple of inches on either side of the plate.
One down, Xander Bogaerts for strike one. Soria racked up a couple of saves in Minneapolis. Neither of them were clean innings. He gave up a hit in each, but he pitched very well. Breaking ball down the center, 0-2.
Bogaerts has never seen anything sidearm from Soria, who's breaking out sidearm pitches. Now that was a slider that caught the plate, but might be a nice time. And if you do go sidearm, you got to stay away from it, because the first time he's looking at it, odds are he's going to give some ground and lose contact with the outside part of the plate.
0-2. Upstairs and fouled away.
That was a semi sidearm pitch. Now's a good time. But he's seen one sidearm fastball. A good time for the sidearm slider. We'll look in at Kevin Smith. We'll see what he wants. There is the slider. There's the hook. There's the outside fastball, the inside fastball, and Soria just decided he wasn't going to throw the ball. He wants to put something in the mind of Bogaerts. He shook off 5 pitches.
Now he's ready. He comes quickly and buries it. 1-2. That whole thing was a setup, yes?
I think so. Not quite as quick as we've seen Rondon do it, but a bit of a quick pitch.
1-2. Lightly hit in the air on the infield. Anderson, out number 2. It is Mitch Moreland, who came into this game slugging over 600. He would have been top 5 in baseball if he qualified in terms of amount of trips to the plate. So a tough final out for Soria.
Dustin Pedroia having some knee issues. That surgically repaired knee, microfracture surgery, and it's just not working for him. 34 years old, middle infielder, but the contract goes on a long time.
(1-0) on the ground, right side. Moncada has it, and the White Sox win. How fitting in his first game as a White Sox player against Chris Sale. Moncada throws the ball to first for the final out as Dylan Covey outduels Sale.
What a whale of a ball game. The Sox, by and large, played a clean game. Just one mistake. Other than that, they ran the bases pretty well. They got the big hit, and the middle of the order got it done. Kevin Smith with a leadoff double in the 7th, and Thompson with an RBI base hit, and just